Hello everyone, and welcome to our new Fallout 4 challenge run. So I'm going to explain the rules of this run while I make the character. I did determine some of this stuff in advance just for the ease of character creation. Last time I tried this I took so long actually making the character that the game crashed on me midway. So here's what we're doing for this run. I feel a lot of challenge runs do this thing where, it's a player, they're very experienced, they kind of know the game inside out, and then they do something, they put a further restriction on themselves. But what happens is that whatever that restriction is, they have a plan to work around it. And that's fine, and those runs are fun. I'm doing something a little different, though, and I don't think anyone has done this, because what we're doing today is every time I level up, I do not get to pick what perk that we are doing. It is going to be a completely random perk, and as we get into the actual run, I will explain how we're going to do that. But yeah, so the primary rule for this run is I do not set the perk. It has to be done completely randomly, and of course, in the spirit of that, we are choosing both our wife and our facial characteristics randomly. And again, I went ahead and I did this all because otherwise you have to see me going and going into the face and setting the hairstyle and setting this and setting that. So I did it all. I had time, so you don't want to see me going 1, 2, 3 and counting how many there are, and then choosing a random number generator. We do have boot camp. So hair is not going to be our biggest thing. Although later, what I have stipulated to myself, because one of the things that happens is that later on, you get more hair choices and more hair color choices when you get to Diamond City and you get to the barbers. So when we get to the barbers, I might do a thing where we get to choose that again. So until then, we are just making the character. So this character is probably going to look really bizarre. But that's going to be part of the fun of it. So, the other thing I'm doing is there are going to be no extras, just for the ease of the game. Because you can technically have multiple markings, multiple blemishes. I'm not sure how I would do that randomly. But what I am also going to do is whenever I die in the game, I have to give myself 10% of a scar. And so basically, like, let's say I get... Actually, here, let's go in here. Yeah, so let's say here I get damaged by a Yao Guai and we decide to give my character the lip gouge. First time he dies by a Yao Guai, it's just going to be 10%, and then we'll apply it. Second time he dies by a Yao Guai, we'll up it to 20%. And that's going to be like the Yao Guai scar. And then we'll have like burns for when we get hit by lasers and whatnot. So eventually this character will look different, but I want the scars to be based on the deaths. The other thing we're going to do is, sorry, the other thing we're going to do is that whenever I level up, I'm going to start at normal difficulty. Whenever I level up, the difficulty is going to go up by 1. We're not going to go into survival mode. That's probably something I'll do for another day. And so it'll go up. Whenever I die, the difficulty is going to go down. So I think eventually we're going to hit a sweet spot where we'll have a difficulty that's appropriate. The one reason I have the difficulty rule is because Fallout's an odd game, and Bethesda likes to do this where their idea of increasing or decreasing the difficulty is basically changing the health and the damage multiplier sliders. So, the harder you get, the more your enemies just have a ridiculous amount of HP, and the less damage your weapons do, and then vice versa when you're going to easier levels. So it's one of those things where I don't want the game to be too easy, but I also don't want it to be too difficult and then have myself mentally just trapped in that difficulty where I feel I can't change it. So that's what we're going to do. Also, at the same time, starting stats are going to be completely randomly determined. Again, I already did that ahead of time, so I have our starting stats here. But whenever I get the book whenever I get the special book, then I'm going to do that randomly as well. It's just going to be 1 through 7. Pick 1. And of course, Anyone who has played this game before knows the spiel, so I am just going to fast forward through it. Alright, so let me go ahead and get my notes here. So our strength is going to be 3, our perception is going to be 2, endurance managed to get to 9, it was dang lucky. Charisma and intelligence are both 1, agility is going to be 5, and luck is going to be 7. Alright, and then of course, if you've seen the title, you know the name of our character, but everyone, allow me to introduce you to Chance Rando. And I might toy with the volume sliders. I put everything rather low, because again, I tend to have this problem on my channel where the game is really loud and I am not loud enough. So we might increase or decrease it as needed. I frankly can barely hear it right now, but I think that's just because I'm by my computer itself and I mostly hear it going. But that's also why I have subtitles, because I am old and I need subtitles. I can't hear my game without my subtitles. Alright, so we know most of the usual fare. We have Sean. Be a little cheeky with the wife. Run to the vault. Big explosion. That definitely should have killed us because we are totally in the radiation zone of that explosion. Push past everyone because they're not main characters. Grab our suit. Put on the iconic suit. Wipe a shot. And then, like Godzilla, we wake up from our icy slumber to swear vengeance and wreak destruction upon the world. Now, of course, the most important part about this bit isn't the fact that our wife died. It's the fact that she still has the wedding ring. And there are two types of people in this game. There are those who pawn their wedding ring for easy caps, and there are those that keep it and give it to whoever they marry. But now there's another order of business. I absolutely do not like this nuclear green. I think it's the one thing I absolutely do not like about Fallout, is I do not like the nuclear green. I don't even like that amber color of, New Vegas. But I do like this nice icy blue color. That nice icy blue is a cryo color. So we are changing it to that. I like that a lot better. Let's get going, because I have to go and get our first level so we can explain what's going on. I'm also going to try and fight my klepto urges. I have a bad habit of wanting to steal everything in the game, or like anything that's not bolted down. But we're going to forgo that, because we also don't know what kind of character this is going to be. Every time we level, that perk is going to be random. We could be good at guns, we could be good at a bunch of other stuff. Always do take the cigarette cartons, though, because those are basically free money. Same thing with cigarettes. And we're just going to eject that holotape. That's a Pip-Boy game called V.A.N.S. Yeah, I'm sure a lot of people have played this before, so I don't want to dwell too much on stuff. And even I've played this a good chunk before. I'm no stranger to this game. And I know I could have let the lightning kill that bug, but I wanted the experience. Yeah, so the one thing we got to be careful about is, as I mentioned, Bethesda likes their games where it's all hit and damage sliders for the difficulty. So the result is going to be that if you don't really invest in any sort of... I'll take lab coat. If you don't really invest in any sort of damage-enhancing perk, the problem becomes you then don't do enough damage and you can be at a serious disadvantage. Obviously, because I cannot choose my perks, I have no guarantee I'm going to get weapon things. Go ahead, we'll do this as I talk. So no guarantee that I'm even going to get so much as pistol or hand-to-hand or anything like that. Okay, you already did that. Overseal lock. So that's also another reason why I'm doing the difficulty rule. Because if something happens to where I just suddenly can't do any damage because I only have like one rank in pistols and that is my only damage increasing perk, that's gonna kind of be a sucky run. Maybe in another time, in another place, we can do this on survival. Oh, I'll tell you what, if you guys can get me to 100 subscribers, I will do a survival version of this, and we will see how it goes and whether or not I regret that. But that's going to be my metric, is I want 100 people who definitely say, yes, I want to see Zacryo have no control over his future. Also, I don't like hip firing in general in games. I like to aim. I either like VATS or I like to aim down the sight, which is weird because you don't have a Pit Boy, but you can still use VATS. See, look, VATS, but no Pit Boy yet. That guy pops up. Hey, come on, that my targeting reticle was right over him. That is nonsense. Okay, now we have a Pit Boy. Roll one of the wasteland, scavenge from the dead. There we go. Next rule of the run is, though I cannot control what perks I get, I am allowed to choose what clothing I wear and what armor I wear. So even if I have like perks for power armor, I'm not obligated to use power armor. That's where the strategy comes in, is I have to make the decision of how I'm going to... This is the other reason why I like using the light blue, is because the light actually looks like light. It's not that kind of silly green, glow. I don't like that. And even the amber one I don't like that much. But again, that's just me. There's a reason they let you change this preference. If you don't like it, change it to something else. So I just go with Zacryo Blue. Rules: no food or drink, operational silence, restrict movement, overseas mission required forward of restricted line. We're just going to jump on here and let the walkway do the work for me. Why should I have to press a button to move? Like some sort of savage. Alright, and then from this point on, we are going to start setting a timer. What I'm going to start doing for these is I'm going to play an hour's worth of game, but I'm going to sign off once about halfway through, so about a half hour in. This way the episodes are going to be a little bit shorter, and I'm not bombarding you guys with hour-long videos all the time. The other thing that's going to suck is that with our intelligence at 1, we really have to kind of hope and pray that we get the Idiot Savant perk. Otherwise, leveling is going to suck. Other thing of note, the only mod I have in this game is the unofficial Fallout patch to kind of fix some of the things that are often a problem with this game. But I do have a bunch of the little mini DLCs that they gave away for free. So you'll see all those proccing right now, where it's like the XO2 power armor. I am not going to really specifically go for those, but if I come across them and I have the time, I'll certainly do them. Always take folders. Especially if you're not in survival mode, folders are weightless and they are basically a free cap. And again, I'm not trying to get super greedy with what I pick up. I am only going to pick up things that are of very, specific value. But like here, I'll pick up some food. Food can be an easy thing if you're not worried about rats at the moment. And we're going to go ahead and... Oh, do I have to do a separate thing for the Pip-Boy color? No, I did. Anyway. Let's see if I can do settings. Display. Oh, that... Okay, yeah, hold on a second. There we go. There we go. Now it all matches. So I figure so far, with nothing to really go on, and actually here, let me bring up my special real quick. So with nothing to really go on, my thing is going to be I'm nice and beefy, and I'm very lucky, and then I have some decent agility and perception. So I'm going to go ahead and kind of lean into those first three a little more, followed by these two, and I'm going to kind of use that to, basically just kind of leverage. So I know I'm going to have a decent action point bar, and I know that I'm going to have decent luck to really build those crits. So that's why I'm going with this, because so far I'm working under the assumption that this is going to be a little bit of a crit fisher build. Again, that's probably going to change as we gain levels, and once we actually manage to gain a level, between everything, that's charisma 2. Nah, I don't care about that. Well, no, I think if anything, we're going to want to stack intelligence in order to... Unless we get Idiot Savant. If we get Idiot Savant, we might choose clothes that have charisma to kind of boost that. We're going to ignore Codsworth for now, because what we really want is to basically do the thing where we research the town on our own so that we can get the experience, because I don't want Codsworth stealing my experience. Should be another one. There we go. Honestly, I think I might want to work on my perception a little more, because my accuracy is not where I usually go for high perception builds more than anything. Like, more often than not, I am making that kind of sniper character. That's just how honestly, that's just kind of how I like to play gun games. It's just whenever there's a gun, it just makes sense that you want to be as far away as possible and be able to shoot really accurately. Yep, everything's dead. Yeah, she's gone. She's in a better place. Yes, a little bit over 210 because we want the previous Fallout games to take place before this. And always go with UOK. It's a really easy bit of XP. It's almost always a success. I don't think I've ever seen it fail. I think it probably is a guaranteed success. Alright. Next thing, Grognak the Barbarian. Unarmed and melee attacks permanently... Critical hits with unarmed melee attacks permanently do 5% damage. Again, that is going to be a good thing to have for my... at least in the interim, my crit fishing build. Let's go ahead and ransack this place for anything that's more immediately useful caps, stin packs, and of course the special book. Now, of course, we are going to pull up my favorite random number generator, and we're just going to pick 1 through 7. Generate 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, we got a little bit of charisma. That makes me happy. Okay, don't need that stuff. You know, a little bit of radioactive material usually helps. That's pretty valuable. All right, well, I'm going to go ahead and fast forward scavenging through Sanctuary. I'm not going to take a lot of food. I'm just going to take food that's really good. So things like cram, pork and beans, Nuka-Colas are always a good choice. Me personally, I'm more of a Vim guy. For those of you who don't know, Vim is based on a drink called Moxie. That's bottled and made in Maine, and it's actually really good. I really like it. There's a grocery store near here that sells it in specialty drinks. So every now and then I get a bottle of Moxie. Maybe that's what I'll start doing for this. Whenever I do this, I'll get a bottle of Moxie and just drink it through the recording. Never pass up on duct tape. Ooh, a General Atomics T-shirt. Again, I still don't. I still really want to kind of keep some int gear on, mostly so that I can, get as much XP as possible. Because again, like having 1 intelligence and no idiot savant perk is really going to hurt. So, and for those of you who don't know, you can climb up here, and there's a nice little baggie of stuff here. We'll take the pipe pistol, mostly because early on, it's a nice early on weapon. It's easy to mod. You don't need a lot of perks to get it to as high damage as it can. It's still not going to compare to later weapons, but if we're lucky enough to get the right perks early on, then we can certainly change that into basically any weapon we need. So if we end up with an automatic weapon, we can make it an automatic. If we end up getting like a rifle perk, we can turn it into a rifle. We're not going to necessarily bother modding any weapons at the moment, because again, I kind of want to see where our first few perks land. It's going to really suck if I mod a weapon. Ooh, we have a red dress. I'll take the red dress. This is Chance Rando. The whole thing about Chance Rando is he does whatever he wants. He's going to tell us how we play this game. We just have to deal with it. Plus, unlike other 2 charisma gear, you can actually wear armor with the dress. I believe you can do only arm pieces and maybe, I think it's only arm pieces, but maybe leg pieces can. If there's an easy way to find out. Right, apparel. Yeah, so the red dress only takes up the chest and the legs. You can still have headgear and some armor on. So it's one of those things where if you end up joining the railroad, you can armor that dress and then, wear like leather gear on top of it or even combat armor. Fancy hairbrush is silver, that makes it valuable. Light bulb is not valuable. Well, not really. We might need it later on. I'm also normally pretty decent at this board game, but I also usually have at least like moderate intelligence. So no, no, maybe no. Seek is also one. Nope, that has a no. Oh, that might be it, but I don't want to. Okay, let's see if we can clear out some of the junk. Oh, there we go. Okay, so. Oh, sure. Eliminate the one that I already. Oh, there we go. Okay, so let's try that. Okay, so I'm pretty sure it's... Ah, there we go. I am smart. I am so smart. Always say yes to fragmentation grenades. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, here is how leveling up is going to work. Now, in old Fallouts, you would just have a big list of skills and a big list of perks, and that one would have been easy because you could have just, labeled them 1 through whatever, and then gone with that. You really can't here, and then here you also have the problem of, okay, so let's say I end up getting toughness, and then, next time around, toughness, you don't get the second rank, you can't even get the second rank to level 9. So it's one of those things where it's like I don't want to have to go. Okay, is this one available? Is this one available? Is this one available? Is this one available? And then count them up that way. So instead, we are going to do a mildly weighted, but I think still equitable solution. So the first number we generate is going to be 1 through 7. In this case, we get a 1. So we're going to put it in strength. Now, we're not going to count strength training because what's going to happen is we are going to go from the available perks. So we got 1 through 3. And then we're going to hit generate again. Alright, so third, so we got armor this time around. So we're going to go ahead and pick that. Now, let's say level 2 comes around and or even like any level between now and 13, because 13 is the next one. So anytime between now and level 13, if we get armor again, instead of doing that or doing it again without armor or discounting armor, instead, anyone that doesn't have a perk available for that perk because of level, it's going to go into strength training. And I feel this is going to be the best way to do that. It's just going to be easier to generate 2 numbers from a small list, but it's also going to open up more opportunities for different perks. So the lower something is, and the more points get put into it, the more you're going to need the actual training in order to get more perks. Because even like something like intelligence, we only have 1 intelligence. Our only choice for intelligence is going to be V.A.N.S. And the first rank of V.A.N.S is right away. The second one isn't until level 36. So I think that just means that, like, okay, at that point we need more intelligence, so that the next time, like the third time we get intelligence, we'll have medic available. Or the next time after that, we'll have gun nut available. But again, it's all going to be how it lands. So in this case, today, we are in armor. So that's probably the one thing we're going to do. I'm going to keep the Volt Utility jumpsuit on for now, even though armor can't go over it. Once we get some actual armor, we are going to go ahead and slap that baby on. But yeah, so that's how this is going to work. It's going to be completely random. There's going to be no rhyme or reason. Basically, again, like I said, it's chance Rando gets to decide who he is, and the challenge of this run is going to be, also, silly, stupid me, we leveled up, which means we're going to go from normal to hard. And then if we end up dying, well, then we'll bring it back down to normal. But we'll see. It's all going to be about how well I can adapt to whatever hand I'm dealt. There's not going to be any sort of metagaming here where I know the game inside and out and I can think of a particular build for whatever, difficulty I impose upon myself. But now the most important thing and the reason why this game is the best, you get to pet the dog. Good boy, dog me. Once again, I am trying not to be greedy. I am only going to pick up things that are essential. Again, I don't want to go into modding weapons and I'll start modding armor because I have the armor perk. It makes sense that rather than letting that perk go to waste, we're going to go ahead and roll with it and mod the armor once we get it. But at the same time, I'm not going to waste resources carrying around stuff for weapons that I may not even be able to mod very much. I might be able to get them to maybe a few mods to rank 2, depending on how lucky I am. So, and of course, by now that will have awakened the mole rats. I said that would have awakened the mole rats. Mole rats. Ah, there we are. Oh my god, that is an abysmal. Oh, right, and of course, silly me, I upped the difficulty, so now these things are a little beefier. There we go. Now let's see. Yeah, you know, I'll take a 66% chance. So let's see here. You know what? Headshot. Boom. Oh, come on. Alright, we're eating good tonight, dog meat. And see, that wasn't so bad. That was not so bad for hard. Like, normally I play on normal, because I don't like that about, you know, the Bethesda difficulty, that it's just a matter of, like, oh, well, you know, they're just going to take, you know, the health bar and go up and you do less damage. Because that doesn't make it more challenging, it just makes it take longer. And that does make it harder because you have to last the battle longer, but that's not the kind of difficulty I want. That's why usually when I do survival mode, I have a mod to where you can change aspects of the survival mode. And so usually what I'll do is I make it to where everyone has the same amount of health, but everyone's damage is 200%. So bullets become a very, very dangerous thing regardless of who you are. Okay. I do not really have anything for chemists. We're not going to make chem. If I take chemists and I start making chems, what's going to happen is I'm going to be overloaded with chems and I'm going to be overweight all the time. Because this game throws chems at you like nobody's business. Like that's the thing. And it's the one reason why, like, I kind of like the Fallout survival mode, because you really do have to pick and choose what you take and what you don't because of your restricted carry weight. But I think the other problem is that the other thing they could do is just make it to where things drop less, like less ammo, you know, less health items, everything like that. Like if something normally drops like 2 to 3, have it drop 1. I think that would be a much more challenging and fun game. Oh, let's Pip-Boy lights on. There's some Fallout New Vegas fans that are going to love that reference. Alright, so now we're really going to get some gear here. So let's do... I think I definitely want to keep... Let's see here. I definitely want to keep eyeglasses on. That extra agility is really paying off right now. I'm still in danger from something. Okay, leather left leg. Yeah, I'll take leather over Raider. I like to be stealthy. Oh, 70% my backside. Yeah, we gotta go. We might have to end up being like the switchblade guy for this one for now. Okay, so I looted him. Ooh, leather left arm, I'll take that. And we have leather chest piece. I swear, I feel like I almost never get leather chest pieces off these guys. Maybe if I'm lucky, I'll get the Raider chest piece from him. Right leg, I need a right leg. I think I need a right arm. Ooh, boiled left arm. Oh, actually, where's the fire? Oh, that doesn't give me anything. That's terrible. Okay. Boiled left arm, that's a better one. Chest, regular left arm, don't need. Leather left leg, don't need. Leather right arm, do need. So that means I don't need the Raider right arm. But I do need a right leg. And God, how I wish that militia hat was perception and not charisma, but boy howdy, we just have to make do. Okay. Oh, and let's not forget, we now have a short laser musket. Okay, so for now, we're going to go ahead and call it a part here. We've been at this for about half an hour. Next time, we're going to go into the Museum of Freedom and rescue Preston Garvey. I know you guys are probably all groaning at that, but it's just part of the game. And the truth is, depending on what perks we get, we may or may not be doing settlement building. Like if we get local leader, I definitely want to leverage that in order to get resources to me wherever I am. But we will worry about that next time. So until then, thank you for joining me. And as always, keep doing what makes you awesome. Thank you very much, and goodbye.